Hello, my name is Michael Jarrett. I'm an employee for Good Air Innovations. Today I want to ask you guys, what is waste? I just want to let you guys know that waste is a substance. It can be created in many forms, and it is a product or substance that has no intention of being used again or suited for any type of use. Um, Basically, at Good Air Innovations, we have multiple innovations that we've been working on to really enhance food waste and decrease a lot of the things that have been going on in our environment. Um, some of the products that we have been recently working on is the noodle straw. This micro noodle straw is actually used to replace the plastic straw, which is used on everyday, such as fast food restaurants, um, diners, and even in the homes. Many people do use plastic straws, which are not good for the environment. Another innovative product we've been working on that we will be giving an overview of is the landfill subscription. This subscription will be very feasible for our customers and our demographic of our market that we're trying to hit. Um, you know, this product will definitely be a feasible option for individuals. The microchip noodle straw will also be feasible for individuals. But it also has a lot of vitality in it as well. It's a product that a lot of people will definitely see as something that can be an innovation for the future. And overall, why does this matter to us, and why does this matter to you guys? It matters to us because we care about our environment, we care about our everyday life around us, and it should matter to you guys because food waste and pollution and a lot of these terrible things in our environment, they're going on every day. And if we all come together, as a unit to decrease this and continue to grow our environment in a safer and more positive way, then we can, move forward in a more positive environment. So, thank you, and I hope you enjoy the presentation.
Thank you, Michael. Hi, my name's Robin. I am an employee at Good Air Innovations. And with all that being said that Michael just discussed in our introduction, as a team, we will be discussing and going more into depth about food waste in our first main point, and describing each aspect that it impacts the earth in a negative way. Now, going into our first main point, Tanner and I will be discussing food waste and all of the different negative impacts that it has on the environment. Food waste has been a continuous negative impact on the earth for many years and is gradually getting worse as we speak. Now, for each of our subpoints, we're going to go over individual topics about food waste and how it has affected the earth, but also what it has done to the earth, if that makes sense. So for my first subpoint, I'm going to be going over food waste and how it affects the environment in many different ways. And this is when it comes to climate change, greenhouse gases, ocean pollution, and biodiversity. So for the disposal of this food waste into our landfills, it produces a very potent greenhouse gas called methane, which is about 25% more potent than carbon dioxide. This is the gas that negatively impacts all the factors that I just discussed in the environment. This gas is what causes the atmosphere to heat up faster because it has a higher warming power than carbon dioxide. Now I'm going to pass it over to Tanner, and he is basically going to be going over subpoint 2, which is why this is happening in our environment, and then subpoint 3, and that's how we can prevent it from happening.
Yes, thank you, Robin. And hello, everybody. My name is Tanner Brim, and I am a member of the Good Air Innovations team. And today I'm going to be talking to y'all about subpoint B and C under main point 1, which Robin and I are covering today. And that is going to be, why is food waste happening? So let's get right into it. For many years in our nation, food waste has been one of the most leading critical issues that we have ever faced. The environment is going down and our world is getting unhealthier every single year. We haven't been able to look enough into this issue, and a lot of people are wondering, why haven't we? This issue has a lot to deal with our nation's population increasing and having too much to do with food being wasted and us overproducing that amount of food. What we don't eat is becoming an important part in our food system conversation. Where's all this food being wasted from? Well, according to one of our sources, from homes, it is totaling up to 43%, which is roughly 27 million tons of food wasted. And from restaurants, supermarkets, and cafeterias, it's totaling up to 40%, which is roughly 23 million tons of food wasted. That means more than 80% of food waste is from the places that I just named, and much of that food is simply just because, well, it's misunderstood. From confusing labels to oddly and ugly but tasty, and also just the misconcept of what people like to eat and what they want to eat. And those million tons of food is getting wasted every single year. According to Stephanie Fieldstein, the United States alone wastes 40% of the food it produces, which for us it is totaling up to approximately $218 billion worth of food every single year annually. Food waste is happening due to many other factors as well, like overpopulation, many unstable markets, and also climate change. A lot of the food wasted that ends up in the landfills are from family homes. This food gets piled up into the landfills and will eventually fill up into our ecosystem and start to hurt our biodiversity. And also, this food will decompose in the landfills and create a gas called methane, and it will affect our Earth's health. Now onto the final subpoint C under subpoint 1, and which is, how can we prevent this, or how can we reduce this? This is a strong question that a lot of you might be asking while listening to us go over our topic. But today I'm going to list 3 ways of how our nations can help. Number 1, we all need to be resourceful when we are going out grocery shopping, so that way we don't get too much food in our grocery carts and we take it home and we don't use it. And that just creates more food waste. Number 2, make sure all your recyclable items are getting put in the exact bin that it needs to go in. As an example, when you get a milk crate, empty it out, clean it out with water, and put it in the recycle bin. Do not throw that away in the trash can. Number 3, make sure to be resourceful when it comes over to leftover food. As an example, you have leftover pizza. Don't just throw it away. Maybe put it in the refrigerator, save it for the next day at lunchtime. Or if you really don't want it, go out to give it to somebody that really needs it. They might really enjoy that slice of pizza. And today, that is going to be all for me for main point 1 from both Robin and I. Now, I'll be passing the baton over to Christopher for our main point 2. Take it away, Chris.
All right, and thank you, Tanner. Now then, the first thing I want to make clear, before getting into the innovations, before we talk about any of our ideas, the issue that we're facing cannot be solved if we are not willing to make a change ourselves. That is the main thing that I want to emphasize before we get into any innovations, any technologies, any of that. The problem at hand is not one that can be solved by inaction. We, humanity, we have to work together. Out of 135 ideas that we came up with, we narrowed it down to 10, cut that 10 down to 3, and yet we're still left with ideas that even if we were to implement them with an unlimited budget, if we were to implement them in every home across America, it would not matter unless Americans, unless people, members of the world, were willing to adopt these new strategies in order to combat food waste. And that's it. And so we realize that. We realize that there is no hope for this issue if it is not something that mankind can adapt to. Now, the first thing that we developed that I'm going to talk about to you, one of the things that got cut off on the chopping block, so to speak, is the innovative meal system. Pretty much all it does through AI and food preparation data, it will help you turn your leftovers into edible meals. It will create meals for you. It can do that. And the feasibility, of course, of it, it's not all there. But that's the reason why we're coming up with these ideas. It's something that if we were to be able to adopt it seamlessly into life, that it could work. Think of the Jetsons or something of that sort. That's kind of where we were heading with this, and that's pretty much what you'll see. We're trying to add things into people's lives that can help them have better, cleaner lives, and that will help our future generations have better, cleaner air. This problem, it's bigger than anything we'll ever be able to solve unless we work together. This problem is massive. And what we've done is tried to create a system of iterations towards working into getting a solution that can have permanence in not just American society, but world society. I'm going to pass it off to Avery, and he's going to give you a little bit more detail about 2 more of our inventions and what we actually chose. Anyway, thank you.
Thanks, Chris. As you just heard, I'll now be going over 2 more ideas. The first idea I'd like to discuss is the idea of the microchip noodle straw. The microchip noodle straw was an innovative idea developed by our team in order to reduce food waste as a whole. The way the microchip noodle straw works is that there will be a microchip placed inside of a noodle straw implemented in every single restaurant. When a customer takes a drink from their straw, the microchip will detect their saliva and send this data to a system in the back of the restaurant. When the data reaches the system in the back of the restaurant, it will then display whether each customer has above average food waste, or below average food waste. If the customer has above average food waste, they will be denied service and turned away because their food waste levels are too high, and they will not be welcomed back until the food waste levels are lessened. If the customer has average or below average food waste, they will be served in the restaurant and welcomed back at any time as long as their food waste levels are at a decent rate. 2 interviews were also conducted on this matter. The first was Shane Valley, store manager of Food Line Store Number 10, and Donald Anderson, a retired waste management worker. They both agreed that they liked the innovative idea and the concept behind the microchip noodle straw, but they didn't like how costly and how time-consuming it would be to implement this idea in every single restaurant. The next idea I'd like to discuss is the idea of the landfill subscription fees. The way this will work is that it will be based off a set quota of $25, which allows 75 pounds of waste. When this set quota is exceeded from 1 to 10%, there will be a 10% increase on the original quota. When this quota is exceeded from 10.1 to 25%, there will be a 25% increase on the original quota. And when this quota is exceeded from 25% or more, there will be a 50% increase on the original quota with additional community service requirements. And the way this will work is that our company will be partnered with local waste companies and provide scales for these local waste companies to go on their trash trucks. And when they go around and they collect trash at local businesses or local residents, they will weigh each trash bag. If each trash bag in the end adds up to more than 75 pounds of waste, that is when the increased requirements kick in. 2 interviews were also conducted on this matter. Jasmine Perez, co-owner of Divine Nutrition, and Jay Nakamori, a content engineering specialist for Netflix, both agreed that this idea was better than the microchip noodle straw because it hit customers where it hurts the most, which was in their pocket. From this point, our team learned that not every idea is a good idea. We really thought that we would be recommending the innovative leftover cooking robot or the microchip noodle straw because of how complex and how much thought was put into these ideas. However, they were both not cost efficient and would take way too much time to implement these. In the end, we chose landfill subscription fees because of how cost efficient they were and how easily they were to implement in a quick and efficient manner. Food Savers Inc. will definitely benefit from the landfill subscription fees because of how quick these can be implemented and how cost efficient they are. And with that, I will now hand the baton over to Felissa, who will discuss why our company is doing what we are doing.
Okay, and why are we doing this project? Why is our team doing it? And why do we want people to care? Well, I'm here to answer all of these questions. As Robin has mentioned earlier, Food waste has impacted our environment, and it continues to impact our environment because more people keep wasting food each year. It impacts things like the atmosphere, which is the air we breathe, and it impacts the wildlife, which could be our source of where we get our protein from, our meats, or maybe our milk, dairy, leather. It also affects our little cute pets as well. And if we don't try to improve our habits sooner, there won't be a future to worry about. And our purpose is to make people be more aware of what they're doing. People are usually unaware of how much food they waste because it's a common lifestyle. People like to go out to restaurants and over order. They tend to order what they think they're gonna eat, but then maybe they don't eat it. Some people take it to go, and then some people just leave the food on the plate and then have other people throw it out. And it's usually a full plate or maybe a barely eaten plate. And that's really a big problem because it usually ends up in a landfill, and landfills tend to be the biggest culprit of air pollution. But it doesn't just stop there. It also happens in the home, where people tend to go grocery shopping for food. They tend to also overbuy and overestimate how much produce they use. And sometimes the produce gets stuffed to the back of the fridge and then it gets left unused and it ends up spoiling, causing the owners to throw it out. Another issue is whenever people go grocery shopping, they tend to go up and down the freezer aisles, they just take food, and then maybe later when they go up to the cashier, they change their mind. They're like, oh, I don't want this anymore. They just put it back somewhere it doesn't belong, even though the produce requires some sort of low temperature to maintain its properties. That usually causes them to spoil, and then the workers has to throw it all out because they've gone bad. It's also common that people misread expiration labels, and that also leads to workers throwing it out because it's being unused and unbought. And we also have to think about the lower class people, the people that are less fortunate and don't get to eat very often like we do. It's kind of sad that we waste so much food and they can't really have the privilege to do so either. So we have to be more mindful of that and maybe think about those that are less fortunate than us. We did this project lastly because we want to help society be better as a whole, and we cannot get better if we do not cooperate together. So what we have done is we conducted multiple interviews and we have researched through books, the internet, to come up with multiple ideas to create the ultimate innovative solution. And now we're gonna go to Michael with plans to move forward. Thank you.
Hey, so it's Michael Jarrett again, employee of Good Air Innovations. And now I want to discuss moving forward and how we kind of do that in our company. After what we discussed about today, now I want to talk about kind of implementing new innovative products for everyday life for our customers and our market base. Things, that were kind of similar to the noodle straw. We've even discussed as a group and as a partnership how we want to move forward and kind of, work together to try to find these everyday items that we could try to innovate and create and change in everyday life. And some of these things could be as simple as a pencil or a pen. Some of these things can change over time. Also, I want to discuss, the potential impact of our company and how it impacts other companies as a whole. Here at Good Air Innovations, I feel like we make a good, strong base for environment, friendly and positive environment impacts, which could potentially impact other companies to want to move forward the same way, just as us. I feel like these could impact other companies as far as wanting to maybe bounce off some of our ideas or even possibly join forces with us in the near future. Some companies could like our creative and our responsive ideas when it comes to our environment and being eco-friendly. As far as more solutions in the future for our customers, I like to make sure that our satisfaction as far as customers is top tier. The way to do that, I really believe, is putting your customers first. And what happens is when you put your customers first is you get a good customer loyalty. And I believe doing that going forward will help our company. Moving forward, we want to stay and choose the same principles and continue our company on the same morals, stay by the same policy, and continue to really grow and innovate a healthy and friendly environment for all people in the business world, as far as our customer and our market base and our demographic as a whole. So thank you for your time, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Michael. And also thank you to all my teammates as well, who has done such a great and amazing job throughout this entire presentation. And also thank you, viewers, who also have been listening in this entire presentation and viewing us in our topic of how food waste has become such a very important byfactor into our nation's crisis. I'm going to be giving y'all a little recap about what we all have been talking about throughout this presentation, just to give y'all a little reminder. First, Michael started us off on a great introduction into what is food waste, and he explained to us that what our innovation is at Good Air Innovations and why it should matter to you. Because food waste has been going on for such a long time, and a lot of y'all barely even recognize it, and we want to get the word out to y'all about what is food waste and how it's becoming such a major factor. And after this, Michael, when he got done, he transferred over to Robin and I for main point number 1. Into main point 1, Robin explained to us what and why is food waste, and she gives us a lot of information on food waste and the impact it is leaving on our environment. Then I transition into the last 2 subpoints under main point 1, also instating a little bit of what is food waste and why is it happening, and how our nation is able to prevent or reduce a lot of this food waste that we aren't even paying attention to. A main information point that both Robin and I came together on to include was that the United States, our nation's home, is wasting 40% of that food waste, and it's totaling up to about $218 billion worth of food waste. And a lot of y'all don't understand that, and to put it into a broad perspective is go into a supermarket and look at all the food on the aisles and everything. Just imagine 40% of that being thrown away. That's what we do every single year on a much higher scale. After Robin and I finished main point number 1, we transferred into main point number 2, which is Christopher, who discussed innovative technologies within our group at Good Air Innovation. Chris talks about ways we can improve our situation in small ways, as an example of how we can't fix our food waste problem if we don't put the effort in, or we don't choose to put the effort in. Because if we don't try to put the effort into food waste and trying to help it, then it's just going to keep on growing and making our nation unhealthier. Then after Chris, we moved on to Avery, and he showed us the brand new solutions that we all came up with and what we created. The first solution was a ramen noodle straw that is embedded with a microchip on it. This is a great way, so that way we can deal with food waste and also get a lot of feedback from the people using the noodle straws and how we can grow on that and help food waste in our nation. The second solution that we came up with is landfill subscription fees and how we can fit that into our brand new modern life. Because we want to be able to get a true meaning on helping out the landfills and helping out food waste one step at a time, and the landfill subscription fees would be such a great factor to that. After Avery, we went into Melissa's segment where she described to everyone why we did this project. She described to everyone out there that food waste is growing, and she gave us lots of great information about that and how food waste is impacting our earth and how we stepped up to make sure everyone is aware of this crisis. Then Michael came in after her, and he showed everyone how we can move forward by implementing new products into our daily life, and how our company can make a potential impact in the present and ongoing future. And that is all I can say to y'all. Thank you so much.
Here at Good Air Innovations, our sole purpose is to find the problems with food waste and find a solution to mitigate those problems. We have completed extensive research concerning how food waste affects our environment. Food waste affects all the different aspects of the environment, from air to land to the sea. In order to alleviate some of these effects, we have created a multitude of prototypes to combat the environmental effects that food waste has. We discussed with multiple experts in the food and waste management industry on how the food waste affects the environment and how they think we could best alleviate those effects through a prototype. We then constructed our prototypes and sent them through a round of testing with more experts to see how we could make those prototypes better. We then chose a landfill subscription fee as the most feasible and best option for our prototype. Through this subscription, we are able to track how much waste each individual and each company makes. If a company or an individual goes over a certain quota, they will be charged an extra amount for their landfill fees. We've introduced this product to the public and corporate world in order to mitigate the environmental impacts that food waste has. With this in mind, how are you going to choose to move forward and reduce the amount of food waste that you produce? If you have any questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to contact us at our office. Our contact information is listed to the side. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation of our new innovation.